He was a billionaire, a titan of industry and commerce, and a symbol of the extravagant, excess-fueled luxury seen in the 80s. Gold-plated everything imaginable. Soaring, iconic skyscrapers dominating skylines. Donald Trump carefully and deliberately built the image of a winner, a man who always, without fail, finds a way to win. The late 1980s arrived with economic shifts on the horizon. America, as a whole nation, is living on borrowed credit. Money is incredibly cheap and accessible to almost anyone. Banks are handing out risky loans to anyone, left and right. And he takes them without hesitation, seizing every opportunity. A lot of loans, a very, very substantial and risky amount. Atlantic City, a hub for gambling and entertainment, beckons. The massive Trump casinos shine brightly with dazzling neon lights. Trump Plaza opens with much fanfare and media attention. Trump Castle, the grandiose, ambitious Trump Taj Mahal complex. Nearly a full $1 billion was spent on its lavish construction. It was supposed to be a magnificent palace for the elite. It became a heavy financial anchor dragging everything down. The interest rates on the borrowed money continue to rise. The projected gambling income stubbornly refuses to materialize. There are far fewer gamblers visiting the casinos now. The broader American economy begins to significantly cool down. By the year 1990, there is widespread financial alarm. By 1991, a full-blown financial catastrophe has arrived. His accumulated debts are now approaching $4 billion. His personal guarantees alone total hundreds of millions. The major lending banks start to feel genuine panic. His business partners begin to quietly disappear. His personal, direct debt stands at around $900 million. Formally, on paper, he is still considered quite wealthy. In reality, though, he is teetering on the very brink. The press is already writing his empire's obituary. He could have declared personal bankruptcy to escape. Write everything off and simply begin his life again. But doing that would mean the total end of his image. For him, his family name is worth far more than assets. He instead chooses difficult, direct negotiation instead. The talks are tough. They are cold and businesslike. He tells the assembled bankers a very simple, stark fact. If I personally fall, you, the banks, will lose. He is the living, breathing face of all these projects. Without him involved, the buildings are worth much less. The anxious banks finally agree to a debt restructuring. They agree to stretch out the repayment deadlines significantly. A significant portion of his assets are sold off for cash. The yacht. The airline. Pieces of prime real estate. The various casino properties go through formal bankruptcies. This happens more than once throughout the difficult period. But through it all, he successfully manages to keep the brand. And crucially, he retains control over his own family name. The most important detail is the name stays on the buildings. And that visible fact means the story is far from over. In the 90s, he is widely regarded as being completely overrated. Seen as merely a showman, not a serious business tycoon anymore. But he fundamentally rebuilds his entire business strategy. He takes less risk and focuses far more on licensing deals. He no longer sells concrete and physical construction materials. Instead, he shrewdly sells the value of his fame, and his powerful media image is further amplified and strengthened. Television successfully makes him a lasting pop culture figure. 2 whole decades later, after all the ups and downs, this supposedly washed up and finished businessman will dramatically descend a golden escalator in a lobby, inside a towering building bearing his own family name, and from there, he will officially begin a campaign for president. The man who experienced a dramatic fall and almost lost cleverly uses his personal name as his single greatest asset. Financially speaking, he certainly experienced a massive, but in the public's eye and perception, he successfully survived. Sometimes in business, the key isn't really your physical assets, it is your unique ability to convince the whole world that you are, undeniably, still very much in the game.